Greetings friends, welcome to the Fireball Ability Guide. Now I thought, what fantasy game is complete without a fireball? They're just absolutely essential, so I thought let's go ahead and make one. Alrighty, so you're going to want to start with your wall and your blank basic puppet. For your wall, make sure that its physical tweaks are set to movable and that it is a object in its label section. Then on your sculpture, your puppet, you're going to go to labels and set it to friend. So now we've just distinguished between those two. Alright, let's get started with the fireball. So we're going to start with a nice little ball sculpture. We can make it red, and we'll throw that down over here. You can really make it whatever size you like. Then let's go to style mode, make it nice and loose. So now it's got a bit more of like a energetic nature to it. We're going to comb it this way. Alrighty. You can also change the flex, maybe make it splat, or actually Baroque is quite a nice one. That's a good one for water and fire and that sort of a thing, I find. Then we're going to go to effects and we're going to put it on flow. So it's got a bit of a flow going. And there you are. Look, we've already got a bit of like a energy sort of vibe going. But you can really make it whatever you like. If you find that the angle of it is a little bit off, you can go to comb and you can change that around as you see fit. Whatever works best for you. One other thing we're going to do is give it a bit of a glow, because we are dealing with an energy fireball here. So glow is a nice thing to just add that magic-y touch to it. It's not perfect, but it's fine for now. Alrighty, then where it starts to get interesting is here, where we attach the microchip to our fireball. Alrighty, so we're going to do a few things here. One of the things, and the most important and not something you'll see every day, I suppose, is the impact sensor. So the impact sensor, oh, I'm not sure what that wall's falling over, my bad. The impact sensor is going to work by kind of like, as soon as your fireball touches something, then it's going to take effect. So this is the explode effect that we want to have. So here's the touching and so on. To give it that exploding effect, we're going to go to the force applier. And on the force applier, we're going to do the usual sort of tweaks, give it a nice bit of strength. We can make it radial, make it a push sort of thing, so it's kind of like an explosive fireball. And you can adjust that size as you see fit. One thing you're going to want to do though is to make it not affect friends. Okay, cool. That's good. Then one thing we're going to do is go to our fireball itself and go to its label and make this you can make it a missile. That's a pretty good thing to make it. You can make it a weapon as well if you want. But making it a missile it kind of just makes sense. And then on the force apply, it's not going to affect friends and it's not going to affect missiles either. So because otherwise it'll blast the little fireball off into the distance as well, and that's not what we want. Okay, so for the impact sensor, we're going to have touching. The touching output, we're going to connect that to the power input of the force applier. So now when you shoot out a fireball, it's going to explode, right? But now we don't only want it to explode, we want it to disappear as well. So we're going to go to our logic, we're going to add a timer, we're going to make it very short indeed, just like 0.1 of a second. It's going to start when it touches something, and then we're going to add in a destroyer so that the fireball disappears essentially once it's exploded. This little bit of time is important because otherwise it'll be destroyed before it can fully apply its force. Alrighty, so now we've got something that is when it comes into contact with something, it'll explode and then disappear. Alright, now let us go to our puppet, because you see doing the fireball bit is quite intense. When you go to the puppet, you're going to make yourself another chip. Take a chip and eat it, and then you're going to go to make yourself a nice keyframe. Best part is always designing your funky little keyframe animation for the fireball. This chap is going to throw his head back as he fires his blast. So mighty is the power of it. Alrighty, then you're going to have the noble, the simple, the irreplaceable emitter. And this emitter is, okay, we're going to do a few tweaks here. We don't have to worry about the time between. We can set that to 0. It's only going to do it once. Make sure you set it to once. And you can make its emit speed depending on how fast you want the fireball to blast out. Okay, cool. So now you've got your emitter working. And I'm just going to, just as a bit of practicality, I like to clone this chap. But it's really up to you, just so that I have like a spare lying around. Alright, so then you go to this guy, you go to Object to Emit, and you choose this chap. Then it's going to say, how do you want to emit it? And we're familiar with this if we've seen the grenade throw tutorial. And we're going to move it here to right by the hand, not too close though. And we're going to change the arrow, which is the direction of the fireball rather. And there you go. So that's where it's going to shoot out. Oh, it's a little bit squiff, a little bit off. Alrighty. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to shoot it. And we want to, of course, add a little key binding. We'll make it R1, because why not? And yeah, those things look good. Alright, let's give it a bit of a try. And we go, boom! Oh, good lord, that's powerful. Okay, that's good, guys. That's great. Friends, if that is good enough for you, then that is good enough for me. But I actually want to be a little bit extra and add an explosion animation to this. Okay, so what we're going to do for this is, firstly, we're going to go to search. I'm just going to go back so you can see the pathway. You can go search, then you go media molecule, MM effects, or if you've made your own explosion, that's cool too. But Media Molecule has made some pretty sweet ones. So we're going to throw this chap over here. You can change the size of it, whatever works for you, and the direction and so on and so forth. And now we're going to go pretty funky, and we're going to go preview and visibility. Alright. So, well, that's a bit messy. We've got our original chap here, our original fireball. I'm going to go into here. It is getting a bit intense, friends, but just bear with me. Now we're going to make an emitter. And the emitter is actually what's going to cause the explosion animation. But you say to me, mean lad, bro, are you mad? That's like, what's going on? I thought emitters just shot things out. Well, actually, the thing is, if you make an emitter and you set its emit speed to 0, it'll kind of just add it into the scene. And you can make it last for like 1 second. So yeah, there you are. And that's that. Then you'll just want to choose where the object is that is emitted, or what is emitted, and you'll choose the explosion. It is getting a bit messy on the screen, but bear with me. Then you'll move the explosion to where the fireball is, so the center of the fireball. That'll be where the explosion comes from when it is kind of detonated or whatever, when it's triggered. And there you are. So you can close that now. That's looking good. We can turn off preview and visibility. And why we did that was so that we could see the original fireball and we could edit it without having to do any sort of crazy business. Okay, preview and visibility off. That looks a lot better now, a lot less crazy. And then when we have touching, that touching output from the impact sensor, we'll put that into the power output of the emitter. And now let's have a look at this ability. Boom! It makes a nice explosion. Boom! It's a little bit off to the side. Boom! Okay, one last thing that we can do is to... Okay, it's going to get a bit messy again. If you're good with that, you're good with that. But just for the sake of perfection, that's the one last thing I want to do. And that is to go to your fireball and to have it as movable. I mean, I suppose that's not really necessary, but the most important thing is for it to ignore gravity. That way it'll fire in a straight line, and you can go zabam, zabam, zabam. And actually, if we're talking about perfection, the final thing that I'm going to do is to go to the fireball ability. And good lord, what's even happening here? And we're going to go here, we're going to adjust this arrow ever so mildly so that it's a bit more straight. And then let's go play. And boom! That's now perfectly straight. It's blasting it off. It won't explode unless it hits something. And here we are, friends. There you are with the good old-fashioned fireball, a classic that every fantasy game should have. you now have in your arsenal as well. Hope you enjoyed it, friends, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop. Peace out.